Yo guys, what a bullish news that we've got for Kaspa. Finally, after, sounding like a broken record for such a long time, guys. Just a couple of days from now on. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see a huge pump towards the upside for Kaspa. However, what does really mean is that, citizens from America obviously can degen into Kaspa like crazy. And of course, with a new bullish president on crypto, you can expect people actually, being allowed to purchase crypto without any silly regulations that are coming from, Gary, that is basically being fired very soon. So guys, that is a lot. This is obviously bullish. A couple of photos from the summit that happened recently. These photos are posted by Kaspa Eco Foundation, so we can clearly see that basically developers are pretty much working on Kaspa, so on and so forth. Obviously, it's something great to see. Now guys, let's have a look at overall bubbles before we are going to go into the technicals. We can clearly see that Kaspa looking very juicy today, 14% versus XRP. Wow, congratulations XRP holders, 30%, and we've got ADA26. Obviously everything is pumping. On a weekly, guys, even more bullishness. And I know that all of us, I guess, missed that PNAT or whatever that is, but you cannot really catch them all, just like with Pokemons. Guys, let's have a look into Kaspa's chart. So I have cleared out everything and I changed colors a little bit in order to see things a little bit more clear. This is for hourly for Kaspa. So guys, first thing is that stochastic RSI is basically going towards these, overheated levels. Could we expect a little bit of a, shakiness? Potentially yes, because we've got some resistance coming in here, short-term resistance. Let's actually zoom it out to daily, guys. Let's have a look what's going on a daily. Okay, so you can clearly see that this level that we got rejected from is pretty much no-brainer. We've got lots of confirmations, as a support and resistance, so this level basically is kind of normal for this level to get rejected at this level. So guys, now we could potentially consider this as a cap and handle formation or something like this, and possible breakout towards the upside in coming 24 hours, 48 hours. Let's see, we are going to have a look at liquidity very soon, and of course different metrics and data, guys, so stay tuned. I know the technicals maybe are not the easiest thing to digest, especially when you are new to crypto, but I believe it's kind of important to survive through the whole video. So guys, daily is basically showing us that Kaspa is still having momentum towards the upside. Okay, so we could be in this overheated level for a while, which obviously is a great thing. Let's actually have a look at the weekly, guys. So if it comes to the weekly, as I mentioned before, I do believe 2 or 3 days ago, Kaspa will probably gonna see some kind of rejection at all-time highs, which is kind of a normal thing, I guess, considering the fact that it's also coinciding with Fibonacci 2. So let's basically go in here and we can clearly see that one is basically that 20%, let's say, and then we've got 1.618, we've got 26 cents for Kaspa. So could we experience another rejection here for Kaspa? Guys, I'm going to change the color to red, just to kind of see and wait. Let me actually put text in here and let's put 1618, or maybe I'm just going to do it very quickly, 1.618, and obviously we are going to be monitoring this level. So let me delete Fibonacci extension, and now guys, we can clearly see that these are basically the zones that we can take some money out, some profits out, because I believe we can experience some pullbacks. Well, unless of course the crowd of people that are waiting for Kaspa on Kraken are going to buy hundreds of thousands, millions worth of Kaspa, and then of course this is not going to play out, because assets don't necessarily always respect technicals, guys, right? So let's have a look at other technicals, guys. This is very important. This is BTC's dominance, and we can clearly see what the heck is going on. I believe that BTC's dominance is going to dump hard sooner or later. Nobody really knows when exactly, but once this thing is going to go towards the downside, I believe we can experience a huge altcoin season. So guys, I believe that this zone, let's say 50%, is going to be definitely a zone to take some profits. And now the nearest zone to which I believe Bitcoin's dominance might gonna drop is going to be probably 56%. So guys, expect this. Also from the standpoint of candlestick pattern, what we can see for Bitcoin's dominance, if that will play out, we could go, let's say, this way, then do something like this and trade sideways basically, right? And then we can create kind of head and shoulders pattern and then potentially, you know, dump towards this level. Let's see, guys, right? But you know, on a zoomed out perspective, we can clearly see that this thing obviously is huge, right? And it's going to drop at some point. All right, now we've got USDT dominance, and USDT dominance on a short time frame is basically printing a bear flag, and I do have a target for this bear flag at 3.99%. Let me actually do it here. Okay, so what I did basically is, you know, I got the flagpole that is roughly in here, let's say, and we can clearly see that this is bear flag, right? So the price significantly jumped towards the downside, and now it's going towards the upside, this flag formation, right? But that's obviously is a bearish pattern. And now if I'm going to put it here, we can clearly see that it's also coinciding with this level of support, which we have confirmations in here. So guys, obviously these are technicals, okay? Let's see, but I'm definitely going to take some short-term profits in here. I'm going to offload a little bit of my portfolio, Kaspa and everything else, and wait for some retest from the standpoint of dominance, and then I'm going to deploy money into the market again. And why? Because there is more upside, I believe, rather than downside in here at the moment, guys. We can see that dominance for altcoins that are excluding top 10 is basically at its very long-term support that basically leads us to 2014. So guys, we are slowly going towards the upside if it comes to that dominance, and we still have a lot of time, a lot of fuel, I believe, to go. And now guys, let's actually have a look at fear and greed. We are sitting at greedy market, so we technically could drop towards the downside, okay, in order to flash these leverages. So be careful with leveraging Kaspa or anything, in fact, to being honest with you. Anyways, that's Binance daily. So at the moment, everybody is longing Kaspa, and Kaspa potentially, you know, dip on a daily. Let's actually have a look at all of exchanges for Kaspa, and let's have a look at 7 daily. So we can see that we definitely have much more longs rather than shorts in the market. Let's have a look at the heat map, guys. So this is Binance 12 hours for Kaspa, and we've got around $70,000 worth of liquidity in this zone. I believe that Kaspa potentially dip into that zone on a very short time frame. Obviously that's 12 hours. And now guys, let's have a look at 3 daily for Kaspa. What we can expect in, let's say, 3 days. All right, so in 3 days, could Kaspa potentially go into 12 cents? Well guys, this is very tricky, right? Because we know that in 3 days that Kraken listing is coming out. So in my opinion, Kaspa is going to pump and is not going to go into, you know, the liquidity zone, right? Because as you remember, guys, I was basically saying that Kaspa is going to be trading sideways with local little pumps in order to search for that liquidity. However, now Kaspa has access to liquidity in 3 days, right? If that kind of makes sense. So guys, I wouldn't really be short on Kaspa now. I believe that this is probably last opportunity to scoop up Kaspa before huge crowd is going to be scooping out Kaspa. So of course, guys, you can use my links, you know, in Pionex, Bybit, whatever it is that basically works for you. I've got a couple of links in the link section. And now guys, let's have a look at the dashboard. Juicy things are happening in here as well. We've got market cap that is sitting at 3.6 billion USD, and the volume is at 174 million USD. However, guys, we are experiencing the highest hash rate ever, 1.44 exahash per second. And now guys, let's have a look at liquidity for BTC. All right, I know that this is not an update about BTC, but obviously whether you like it or not, BTC is basically driving the whole market. So now we've got lots of longs, guys. We've got 9 billion worth of longs for BTC. So BTC technically could pull back, okay? And I know that probably after such a long time, this is something that you don't want to hear, but it potentially could from the standpoint of liquidity. But now obviously on a 3 daily, we've got 92. Let's actually have a look at 1 weekly, okay, to actually see how the situation is. And so you can actually, guys, also learn how to read this liquidity. Okay, so now we've got 85 in here, we've got huge block in here. I don't necessarily think that this is going to happen within a week, but potentially it could. Who really knows? Let's have a look at 12 hourly of what might potentially happen for BTC. So probably the price is going to range between 93 and 90,000 USD for BTC. I don't think that we are going to see the next pump in the next, let's say, 24 hours. Let's reevaluate the charts when I'm going to be back tomorrow. But now looking at some macro charts, guys, we can clearly see that the party is yet to depart. Okay, I do expect the first let's say major pullback at all-time highs for altcoins, roughly, right? We've got 1.618 Fibonacci retracement zone in here, so let's go halfway for instance, and to be very safe, let's expect some pullback in here, right? I'll probably gonna be out in this zone for altcoins, not only Kaspa. And don't get me wrong, I was still gonna repack my bags after the pullback, because I don't believe that after such a long time these altcoins are going to experience no pullback after reaching its previous all-time highs, okay? Especially when we've got 1.618 Fibonacci zone in that area. So guys, of course I'm going to reevaluate this, and for now this is only just a macro perspective. All right, let's have a look at the daily time frame. So the daily time frame, guys, we still do have some momentum, right? Because what basically happened, we had this falling wedge on 4 hourly, and at the moment this actually is playing out. Alright guys, I'm going to update you in tomorrow's video, but I believe that, you know, everything that I have mentioned about today is pretty much a good news, guys. So I guess now what we have to wait for is Binance and Coinbase, right? Alright, that's it what I've got for you today, and as always, peace and love, crypto.